If your Google ads are running, but your phone isn't ringing, you're making one of these 5 optimization mistakes: negative keyword management, campaign goals, call quality audit, proper bid adjustments, or landing page conversion rate. In this video, I'm going to go through each one of these and show you how to optimize it so we can actually get your phone ringing from these ads. My name's Tyler Davis. I'm the founder of Lead Liftoff, and we're a Google Ads agency that specializes in getting phone call leads for home service businesses. We've managed over $1 million in ad spend and generated over 16,000 phone calls for our clients across the whole country. We know how to optimize campaigns to get real results. So let's get right into it. The first point, negative keyword management. I want to start with what is quite possibly the most important optimization you can do for your campaigns, and that's going to be staying on top of your search terms and staying on top of your negative keywords. To do this is actually quite simple. It just takes a little bit of time. We do this each and every day. For this example, I'm going to go back 1 week and show you a week at a time, just so we can have some more data in there. What you want to do is you want to go over to your campaigns, insights and reports, and then go down to search terms. From here, you can see all the different searches that your ads showed up for. Now, it's not going to show every single one. Google doesn't show searches to you that contain like sensitive information. So it might show around 50%, but even with just those 50%, we can make some huge differences to our campaigns. So here's exactly how we optimize this each and every day. We go into the account, we go to this part, and we're looking for terms that we don't want our ads to show up for. In this example, we're working with a painting company. So some of the issues we're going to run into is people looking for maybe paint products, people looking for DIY solutions, people looking for competitor names. These are all things we want to look out for and things we want to put in our negative search terms. So starting off, let's go through these and just highlight some ones that we think we should add to the negatives. Deck staining. This company also does deck staining. House painting near me, wood deck paint sealer. So this is something that we might want to put as a negative. We might want to put sealer as a negative keyword. Now I actually have a plugin installed that's really helpful. It's called Keyword Me. There's an affiliate link below. It's only a couple bucks a month and you get 2 weeks free if you want to use it. But all it does is it allows me to copy and paste better. You by all means don't need this. You can copy and paste into a normal document to keep track, but this would all be using through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the word sealer because I want to add that as a negative. Then we're going to keep looking here. Outside house paint. See, this might be looking for just the product, not the service, but I don't want to put paint as a negative keyword. So we're just going to leave this as is because it's not clearly a negative. House painters near me is great. Painting contractors near me. Any near me is great. This is a location. They service that location. That's fine. House painters near me, totally fine. This is the name of the company. I'll be blurring that out. Lead certified painters. This is something that's very specific to the industry. If that's you, obviously it's fine. Location based, painting and flooring contractors. This specific person is not a flooring contractor, so we're going to add this to our list. And as I'm clicking these, you'll see here what's happening in my tool. They're just getting added to this list here. And we're going to keep going with that until we get a full list. Average price. This might be something you want to add as a negative. That's up to you. Let's keep looking through this list here, see if we can find something. Here we go. Here's some good examples. We have a competitor name right here, a competitor name right here, and a competitor name right here. Here's something else we might add. Small job. We might not want small jobs. Those are low quality leads. So we might even select small job as a negative keyword to add as well. Okay, I'll stop there. Once we have this list, make sure you go through every single search term. We do this daily. So we set this to yesterday. So instead of the last week, we set it to just yesterday, and we go through every single day. If you're doing it on a weekly cadence, obviously you set it to 7 days, and you do that. So what you do when you have your list is you go over to, on the left over here, you go ahead and you can close this up and go to audiences, keywords, and content, and then select keywords. This will show you all of your keywords. And what we want to select is this negative keywords tab right here. And then we want to hit this blue plus button to add some. And then in here, you want to paste those root terms that you want to add it as negatives, and you want to paste them as a phrase match. And the way you do a phrase match is by using parentheses around the word like this. If you're unfamiliar with match types, there's 3 different match types for Google Ads. It's phrase match, broad match, and exact match. What this indicates is how tightly Google should match around that keyword. So if you do an exact match, it's only going to do if somebody searches for that exact search term or incredibly close to it. Phrase is a little bit looser, so it can match that phrase a little bit. It can have other words in there as well. And broad is even more broad, so it's very loose in general on the search. We use phrase match for our negative keywords. That's what we see as working the best, and that's why we use this tool, because I can just grab this over here. I can click copy. I can come over here. I can paste, and it automatically puts the quotes around it for me. Again, you can just do this in a Google Docs sheet or a Word document, whatever is easiest for you. Next, what we have to do is we're going to have to select our campaign right here. Select whatever campaign you're working in, and then hit save, and it's going to add it. Staying on top of your search terms and adding negative keywords is seriously one of the highest ROI things you can do for your Google Ads account. Can't stress enough how important this is. That's one of the only things that we do every single day in an account. It's that important. Stay on top of this. You'll see exponentially better results. Now, the second form of optimization we're going to look into is your campaign goals. So looking here, we're in our campaigns and we've just selected our campaign. Make sure it's selected up here. And you can either go to settings by clicking the settings up here, or there's a little geared icon down here as well. However you do that, go to your campaign settings, let it load, and then you want to go down to your bidding. Select that. Once this is selected, we can start going over how to optimize your campaign. So there are two bidding strategies that we use, and I'll show you how they work. We either have maximize clicks or maximize conversions. And we always start with maximize clicks, and we put a maximum cost per click bid limit on that. That maximum cost per click bid limit is going to be around double the average cost per click you're getting. We just don't want Google to give you a crazy expensive cost per click out of nowhere. So we set that and we save it as such. Now we keep it like this for a while until we get about 20 to 30 conversions, depends on the industry, within the last month on an account. Once we see those conversions and once we see that they're a good cost per lead, something that we're looking for, then we'll switch it over to maximize conversions. And we're going to set our target CPA a little bit above the average cost per lead that we're getting. So CPA is cost per action, cost per lead, cost per call, tons of different names for it, just cost per conversion. That's what you care about. So like, let's say this account, the average cost per lead is $100. We would probably do around 120. We'd start like this. And then every week we would go in here, we would look, we would make sure that, hey, our leads are under that price. Then we're going to drop it down to maybe 110. Then maybe we'll drop it down to 100 the next week. And we're going to continue to lower this week after week until we get to a point where if we lowered it anymore, we would stop getting leads. It would start choking the campaign out. It's not going to be able to get you a cost per lead that low. This is probably one of the most important things we do as well, making sure that you're doing the right sort of targeting, the right sort of optimization. You're training Google in the right way each week after week, and you're not making these big sweeping changes or you're not choking out the campaign. You're making these short changes that make a big difference in the long run. I'm going to cancel this because this campaign's not ready for maximize conversions yet. And we're going to leave it on clicks. Now I want to switch over to the third key optimization point, which is going to be bid adjustments. Now we can do bid adjustments on multiple things. The first one I want to do is devices. So go over to insights and reports over here on the left, then go down to when and where ads showed. Select this, go back about 30 days or maybe all time if you want. And you can see on mobile phones, computers, and tablets, how many clicks you're getting, what your average cost per click is, how many conversions you're getting, and your average cost per conversion. Now, this account's pretty new, so the results aren't great, but the point is still the same. You're going to look at how mobile phones, computers, and tablets convert differently. So as you can see here, mobile phones for us are getting a cost per conversion of about $103. Computers are about $110. Computers used to be more expensive, but we already did a preemptive bid adjustment of negative 10% on that. So let's say you come in here and your cost per conversion on mobile phones is $100 and your cost per conversion on computers is $200. What you would do is you would do a bid adjustment here. I wouldn't do any more than 10 or 5% at a time. You can get larger over time. So this could be, it could be all the way down to negative 100%, but I wouldn't really recommend doing big jumps like that unless you want to turn something completely off. So what you would do is you would just decrease this. So we were already at negative 10%. It's a little expensive still. So we're going to decrease it down to negative 15% and just save that like this. And there we go. What this means is that Google is going to give more budget to mobile phones and tablets than it will computers. Another change we're going to do here, because I just do this in most accounts because tablets don't tend to convert, is we're going to decrease tablets by 100%. What this means is our ads won't be serving on tablets like iPads and stuff. It's only going to be on phones and a little bit on computers as well. Another bit adjustment that you can make is on the locations. So where we found that was audience, keywords, and content. Locations, and then depending on how you have your location split up in your account, you're gonna have all these options. If you only have one selected, meaning you did maybe like a radius location targeting, then you're only gonna have one option here. So that's why it pays to kind of chunk out your locations in different chunks so you can track the conversion rates, you can track the cost per conversion differently across the different spots. So looking here, the same process applies as before with the bid adjustments, this time with locations instead of devices. So if you notice that a cost per conversion is significantly higher than the rest, I would lower it by about 5 to 10% at a time again until eventually it goes away. In this scenario, this one's a little bit more expensive than this one. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a bid adjustment here on decrease to 5%. And the reason I'm not doing 10% is because this is our biggest location. So I don't want to significantly hinder it, but I want to hopefully get a little lower cost per lead on this area. And another way you can do this with super valuable is right next to locations. It's down here in add schedule. You can split this up by day. So as you can see, I've already made some adjustments Monday, Thursday, all different plus and minuses. I would do pluses on the day split up. And if you're a really in-depth advertiser, you can even split it up between the first half of the day, the second half of the day, certain times of day. It's an option as well. Same process as before, just look at conversion rates, cost, make a judgment call on, plus or minus 5 to 10%. All right, now the next optimization to make if you want your phone to ring more often for a lower cost per call is going to be listening to the calls you're getting right now and assessing the quality. This is something a lot of people don't really take the time to look at, but it's incredibly critical. Google only knows if it's getting you a call. It doesn't really know the contents of that call, doesn't know the quality of that lead. That's something that you still need the human touch for. So what we do is we go back and we look at some of our call recordings. We look at summaries of the recordings. And we pull out things that we should be adding as negative keywords, or we pull out things that we need to add to the landing page to clarify something, or we might even just realize, hey, we're getting this type of lead. It's not really the type of lead we want. We want this type of lead. Or maybe this thing is really positive. It's resonating super well. People are really excited about this offer. Maybe we should talk about it more. A tool we use is called CallRail. It's one of many, call tracking tools that you can use. I'll show you it on my screen here. It's got a bunch of private information, so it's going to be super blurred out, but I'll show you what I can. So in this section, we have all of our calls from a client here, and it has a little AI summary and a recording of it, so we can go back and listen to it if the AI summary doesn't give us the details we need. As you can see, each summary goes through and just tells us what happens on the call. So we do this weekly. We look at the past week's calls, look for information we can pull out of these summaries, see if there's any competitor names mentioned. Maybe they thought they were calling a different company. Maybe they're calling from out of an area. We need to add that as a location block. And there's just really a ton of different things that you can get from here that you wouldn't get just from the data in Google. So however you can do it, track your calls, track the quality. You want to make sure that the leads you're getting are even worth getting before you optimize Google to get more of them for you. All right, there's one more fifth and final optimization I want to talk about today. Before you even do this, you need to do the past 4 that we just talked about. This fifth one doesn't even matter if you don't have your negative keywords set up properly, if you don't have your campaign goals in line, if you're not doing the proper bid adjustments, and if you're not listening to the calls you're getting right now. Once you get those 4 things dialed in, then you can move on to this fifth one, which is landing page conversion optimization. All right, so here we have a template page that we use. We're looking at it in the mobile version because that's where a majority of the conversions come from anyways. So we always build out mobile first. And there's only a few things we look at when we're talking about split testing pages to increase the conversion rate. The first thing we care about is the call to action. So this tap to call now. So specifically this one down here, because this one's a sticky, meaning it's always going to be here. This is the first thing we test. We test changing the call to action on it. We test changing the color of the button. We test putting the button up top instead of down below. This is the most important part probably of the whole thing. The second most important part is going to be this headline here. Split test a different headline. Use ChatGPT to come up with a creative headline for your service. Make sure it really matches what the ad is saying in that headline. Just make sure that people feel like they're in the right spot. Same thing with the subheadline, do that next. And really, everything in this section is what we test. So the background, the trust and benefits here, this picture down here, the colors. It's important to only test one thing at a time. And I would honestly only spend time up here. We never split test stuff down here just because there's so many different factors you can change up here to get a good conversion rate. We have pages that are converting at 30, 35% using a page just like this. If you want more details about this landing page, I have a video on my channel that goes through the whole thing, showing you how kind of the thought process behind making it, how it works. So go check out the channel. There's something about that on there. But for the purpose of conversion rate optimization, everything right here is the only thing that moves the needle. I wouldn't mess with anything other than this hero section. All right, guys. So those are the 5 biggest levers you can pull to get more calls from your ad campaign and to lower that cost per lead. If you implement just one of them, I guarantee your results will increase over time. If you enjoyed the video, I have a couple resources below. First one is a free Google Ads profit calculator. Type in some numbers and you can see the expected Google Ads ROI you can get. That's super valuable, so go check that out, completely free. And then the link right below that is a link to apply for us to build you a complete Google Ads system, completely done for you for a one-time payment. That's a really great offer as well. You get a complete system built for you from our expert team for your business specifically. Or you can just go on the channel, keep watching more videos. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.